Hey everyone, here to talk about the Dsi Xl. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So I wanted to talk about the Dsi Xl and whether or not if it's a viable handheld to have in 2020 or if you should just stick with buying something else. But before we do that, if you guys could be so kind as to give my video a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe for more content, I would greatly appreciate it and it would help me out tremendously. Only takes a few seconds, just go ahead and thumbs up the video. Moving on. So when it comes to owning a Dsi Xl after purchasing the one that I have, I do have a list of pros and cons when it comes to the system, but I have to say after playing it for many hours, it's been a lot of fun. The nostalgia has been hitting me because I remember the day when they announced the Dsi Xl, and years ago I owned a DS Lite and I wanted bigger screens, and ever since I purchased the Dsi Xl, I was blown away by the bigger screens. The experience was just amazing. However, just like the original DSi, Nintendo decided to get rid of the Game Boy Advance slot. So that was a con for me, but I at least kept my DS Lite and my old Game Boy Advance SP at the time. Now let's go ahead and dive into the pros and cons. We're going to go ahead and first get the cons out of the way, the bad things first, and then move on to the good things about having a Dsi Xl in the year 2020. The first con would have to be, number one, you could easily get a 2DS XL or a 3DS XL and play your old DS games on there with no problems. That is true, but it is a bit more expensive than buying a Dsi XL. Number two is that the Dsi XL does not have an analog stick. It only has a D-pad. Don't get me wrong, the Dsi XL's D-pad is great. I actually love it. The only issue is playing games like Mario 64 for the DS or Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2. These games were made to be used with an analog stick or the thumb slider on the 3DS XL. But of course, that's just a handful of original DS games. There are plenty of DS games that you can play with a D-pad and have a great time with. Another con is that I noticed the hinges are very weak on a Dsi XL and they're prone to cracking, so eventually you may need to get it repaired because the hinges are not the greatest. The fourth con would have to be after hours of gameplay without any type of case or grip on the Dsi XL, I did notice that my hands tended to cramp only with intensive games like Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2, for example. But if you play like pretty much any game that uses the touchscreen or doesn't require you to use all the buttons constantly, then it shouldn't be a problem. I guess the fifth and final con for the Dsi XL is that they're not very common, meaning you're not going to find these so easily unless you have a retro gaming store close by, and there's a possibility they may not even carry them because a lot of the times they just sit on the shelf. So your best bet is finding one online for a decent price. The one I got, I purchased it with a slightly cracked hinge for about $60, so it's up to you if that's something you want to do for the experience. Now that we got the cons out of the way, we're going to try to give this some pros to see if it matches with the cons. So pro number one, it's affordable compared to the new 3DS XL and the 2DS XL. Second pro about the Dsi XL is it's a lot bigger. It just looks nicer. The design of it looks really nice. It looks premium. And the screen resolution is insanely good in my opinion, while also being kind of bad at the same time. Meaning that you'll see a lot more of the game, which is awesome, but certain games look a lot worse because of pixels. But if you don't care about that like me, then it's definitely a good choice for you. The third pro, it is 100% region free for all original DS games, not including DSi games. However, there's not that much DSi games compared to the regular DS games. You can purchase a Japanese exclusive game and you can play all those DS games on your DSi with no problems. The fourth pro is that it's big. If you got like cargo pants like I normally wear, you can easily fit this in your pocket, but with nothing else in there, of course. And overall, it does feel comfortable in the hands. And the fifth and final pro I see about buying a Dsi XL is that not many people are looking for them. Currently in 2020, it's really hard, if not impossible, to find a Nintendo Switch for a decent price because scalpers keep buying them out and reselling them for ridiculous prices. They're also doing the same thing with PS4s, Xboxes, and 3DSs, including 2DSs. So with that being said, Dsi XL is one of those consoles that is not being looked for at the moment. So if you're just looking for a DS to play your games with the best possible bigger screens, I would go with that. I have to add some more pros here because honestly, the pros outweigh the cons at this point. The 6th pro would have to be the battery life. I've played the Dsi Xl for about 8 to 10 hours at one point before I even noticed the low battery indicator. As long as you keep it on a lower brightness setting, my recommendation is just keep it on the second brightness setting. You could get anywhere between 6 to 10 hours of gameplay, which is pretty good. In fact, really good. The 7th and final pro is honestly a couple things. The first thing is the placement of the stylus pen on the right side. Very comfortable, easy to access, but it also has, most importantly, the power button on the inside compared to the weird new 3DS XL's placement of the power button on the edge. The placement of both power button and stylus pen is honestly really good for this system, especially the power button, because you won't accidentally press it. So all in all, I hope you guys take this with just a grain of salt. I'm a huge fan of the Dsi XL. It's a lot easier to find compared to 3DSs nowadays. It's a lot more affordable in my opinion. You can pretty much play any old DS game on it without any problems, even if it's from Japan or Europe. It's really nice looking and the battery life is really good, so I'd say it's definitely worth getting one nowadays. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do apologize for the audio quality as I'm recording from my phone. I do my best to edit the audio through Audacity. If you haven't noticed already, I used the footage, which was my original video idea of doing another shell swap for my Dsi XL. However, I lost the remaining footage, so I decided to just use it for a different video for a different purpose. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you like it, please thumbs up the video, subscribe to see more content, hit the bell icon if you want to see whenever I stream. I do stream live on the PS4. I do not do these types of videos very often, but I will do my best to put out at least once a month some sort of handheld gaming type of video, even if it's just informative. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have an awesome day or night wherever you guys are in the world, and please be safe. Bye bye.